my friend Dino Archie, who's friends with Hasan Minhaj, asked me to open for him in Victoria, BC.
Okay.
And I had already bought tickets for the same time. That same weekend, Hassan was doing the Queen Elizabeth Theatre in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Dino was doing the shows in Victoria on the Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday was Hassan, right? Yeah. So now fast forward.
Saturday he was in Seattle, which I was at that show.
Okay, boom. Yeah. So
there you go.
The timeline works.
Yeah.
And so what happened was Dino asked me to open for him. I said, hell yeah. So I booked my flight to go to Vancouver and I already forgot that I purchased these tickets for Hassan's show months in advance. Like when it dropped, I bought the tickets. I bought two, one for each show because I was gonna sit down and just in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Right. So the fact that I get to go work in Vancouver, in Victoria with Dino, and then go watch Hassan after was like, okay, two birds, one stone.
Totally.
So I get to Vancouver. I take the ferry over with Dino, and him and I are chopping it up. Turns out the first show that we were supposed to do got canceled. It turns out the show that I thought I was opening for Dino, they already had an opener. So they asked me to host.
Okay.
Right? And so hosting is like not the most fun, you know, for most comics. I'm not the strongest host either, but you know, I'm already here. Let's do I'll take the time anytime. So I end up hosting. So the first show goes great, right? The second show now, this is like one of my first times like really traveling for a show. So I forget about this 3-hour time difference. So it's about like it's about like 2 a.m. in the morning for me. And as I'm bringing up the headliner, which is Dino, and I brought him up very lazy, right? He gave me an assignment. He said, yo, just say that you've seen him on Jimmy Kimmel Live and he's doing the comedy extravaganza, Van City extravaganza in Vancouver, January 8th at the Vogue Theater. Say those two things. I bring him up and I say none of that. I say, yo, this guy, Dino Archie, man, at the time he had a tour called Toxic But Safe. I said, oh man, this guy, he's toxic, but he's safe. Make some noise for my boy Dino Archie. He comes up, he goes, Hassan, come back on the stage. Puts his hand on my shoulder, says, that has to be the worst introduction I've ever had in my life. I said, oh shit, my bad, yo. And I get off stage and I think like the crowd was like, oh, you know, but like everyone, I think anybody would have, like any other comic, they probably would have been like, oh man, this guy's like so mean or something like that. Nah, but that's Dino. And on top of that, like, I'd rather you tell me from now than let me make a mistake like that ever again.
Totally.
You know, so him and I are just chopping it up afterwards in the hotel. And I said, I asked him, I said, are you going to Hasan Minhaj's show? And he goes, oh yeah, I'm opening.
There you go.
I said, word? He goes, yeah, man, you should come through, man. Like backstage, will we come through? And I'm like giddy. You know, like no way this is a thing. Now fast forward. While I'm on the ferry, he tells me like while we're on the ferry, I'm trying to sell these tickets, man. I just spent like $350 on 2 tickets for the same show. I was like, yo, I'm online, kind of like, yo, I got 2 tickets. Who wants some? You know, no one ended up buying them, but my seats were way better. So what happened is now we finally get to the venue, and I guess like Hassan was just coming in, and I didn't even understand, but like Dino, luckily, you know, as somebody who was guiding me through that moment, he was just like, he just introduced us. Yeah. Introduced us and then let him go about his way because he has a job to do, right?
Of course.
And so there was 2 openers, Asif Ali and Hassan and Dino Archie. Yeah. And so what happens is Dino did 10, Asif did 10, and then Hassan came up. Yeah. And that was for the first show. And I was just chilling in the backstage, just watching the whole thing. And then after the first show is done, Hassan, Dino, and I are chilling. And then there was some word around like with the AD talking, someone saying like, Asif, you got to leave, right? Because Asif had to do another show in New Westminster. Right. And so I heard that just through, I was like, oh man, opportunity. Like, you know what I mean? And
That's our boy Kashif Pasta and his team that produced that show.
yeah. Kashif was there. I actually hollered at Kashif.
Kashif's the man.
I hollered at Kashif. I said, yo, I actually hollered at Kashif before the show. And I said, yo, listen, man, I'm trying to open it. And then he's like, I think nobody ever got back to me. So I was like, yeah, nobody ever got back to me.
We will let Kashif know.
Yeah, let Kashif know, man. I hollered at him. And he's just like, he left me on scene, man. And then I showed up on the scene and I saw him. And I said, and he's like, oh, yeah, I thought you. I said, yeah, man. Nigga, I'm here. I'm activated, man.
There you go,
Trust
man.
me. And so, fast forward now, Asif leaves, right? It's Dino, Hassan, and I, and we're just chopping it up cordially. And then Dino goes out to smoke. Hassan goes to the bathroom. But before Dino leaves, Hassan gets up first, and then Dino and I are here sitting there talking. And I asked Dino, I said, yo, you brought me back here. I don't want to overstep, but I was going to ask you, is it cool if I ask Hassan for some time? You know?
I love it.
And he goes, Dino's a real one, man. This guy goes, yeah, for sure, you can. I'm not going to ask for you, though.
Yeah.
You know, you got to do that yourself. Yeah, exactly. You got to shoot your own shot. And I was like, yeah, man, no problem. I wasn't even like, I was going to totally do it myself, you know? And so Dino goes out to smoke. I'm spinning the block throughout this big-ass theater, and I run into Hassan, and him and I are in the green room alone, and we're chopping it up for like 10-15 minutes, man, talking about my life. Really, I think he was just trying to preserve his voice, to be honest, but him and I are just chopping it up for 15 minutes. And in that time, not to say that I wasn't enjoying the moment, but like, you don't have like, while that conversation was holding on, you don't know how to transition into like asking for something. Mm-hmm. And also, like, it's always weird asking for something. You also want to be weird asking for something.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're
overstepping and stuff like that. And so I was just like, I never got to it. 15 minutes of talking, never got to it. And so Dino walks back in, and the AD walks in right after him. And she goes, Dino, we're ready. You guys ready to get started? And they're like, yep. And Dino, you're cool to do 20? And Dino looks at me and looks back at the AD, and he goes, yep. Damn. And walks towards the bathroom, AD gives Hassan like the thumbs up, and they were good. They were like about to get it going. And then I stood up. I said, yo, Hassan, I know we were talking, and I was just going to ask you. I was like, is it cool if I do like even 5 hours? Is there any time I could do any? And he goes, oh, man, I wish you asked me sooner. And I was like, oh, man, I was going to ask you, but like, I didn't really know. Like, when a girl, like when you're asking a girl out and you're like so nervous, and you're like, I was going to, but if you don't want to go out with me, it's fine, I wouldn't want to go out with me. We can still be friends. Yeah, we can still be friends. Yo, I don't want to go out with me either, too. Like, my shirt's, I don't know, I was rambling. And I was like, yeah, man, that's cool. And then he's like, you know what? I think he's just trying to stop me from talking. He's like, you know what? Give me a second. And maybe it clocked in his head because, like, at least Dino brought me. He said he's funny. So I was like, okay. So the AD goes upstairs, and Hassan's like, yo, let me go get the AD. And Hassan goes up the stairs, but the AD actually just turned the corner where we were just standing. And she goes, where's Hassan? I said, oh, he's upstairs. He's looking for you. I let them find each other, and then the AD comes back downstairs, and she goes, you're cool to do 5? And I was like, yeah, no problem. Boom, yeah, I'm amped. And then Kashif came out of nowhere, actually. He's like, yo, we got you. I was like, nigga, we got you the spot, man. I was like, I did that, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, I did that shit, man. And then it was a very surreal moment for me. Because it was, because he did the ghost call, the phantom call from the back. Yeah. And I went first. And now, before even going on the stage, we were doing like shotgun style or like piggyback style, where one comic brings up the next. Yeah. Right? And I was going to bring up Dino. But now the last time I brought up Dino.
Oh, yeah.
I fried him, and he fried me. I brought him up lazy, and then he fried me. Yeah. And so he looked at me, he goes, listen, when you get on stage, when you're done your set, just say you've seen him on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and he's doing the Van City Extravaganza at the Vogue Theater, January 8th. I said, I got you. I go up, I do 5 minutes, finish my set. I said, this comic, you've seen him on Jimmy Kimmel Live. You're going to see him do the Van City Extravaganza at the Vogue Theater, January 8th. Make some noise for my friend, Dino Archie. Crowd goes crazy. He comes up. We dap each other. He whispers, "You killed that shit."
Hey, if you like that clip, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more content and more conversations with incredible Muslim artists and creatives. The Halal Gap is a Mosquers production. Stay up to date with us by searching Mosquers Film Fest on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.